So what do you get when you mix Quentin Tarantino with Epic? You get this collaboration. So this video is much more than just that collaboration, because at the surface, Fortnite looks like it just had another chapter, another clip based off Kill Bill. But I'm convinced that this chapter here is much more important than that, because for the very first time we get a Hollywood heavyweight transcending two games to tell a story based off his IP, of his film, because it's the best medium for him to tell that particular story. And I'm fascinated by this because we have come such a long way in games that now it transcends the medium of games, especially for engines. So I want to talk about it in this video, and if this sounds interesting to you, join me and let's get to it. Welcome to another video, and I'm glad that you're here. Now, this video is sponsored by Epic. I'm very excited, not only because Epic is the very first content that Epic sponsors here in the channel, but also because this, I think, is a very pivotal piece of work that is being done. And only the future will tell, but I genuinely think that this might be the beginning of a lot of things happening in Hollywood and Unreal, and game engines actually upgrading in a massive way. So more specifically in this video, we are talking about the lost chapter, Yuki's Revenge. And this is a chapter that Quentin Tarantino wanted to add to the original Kill Bill movie, but he couldn't make it work due to technical limitations. Things didn't quite work, and he just basically put it aside. And then Unreal Engine came along and allowed him to actually create this. Now, before we go into the details of this short, I want to talk a little bit about how far we have come with game engines, because back in the day, when I first started 20 plus years ago, like, the engine was very much a tool to make games, and that was it. You actually create a game engine to create a game, and back then, pretty much every studio had their own version of an engine. And the reason why is because, just like car engines, they could tweak the engine more or less for the needs of each game. And sometimes they would actually use the engine for one game, they will discard the engine and it will start again. And sometimes they will use the same engine for multiple games. And this was just the way things used to be. Now engines are very much something that, like, you have mainly two, Unity and Unreal, and you have certain studios that are really big, like Guerrilla Games and Naughty Dog and a few others, that have their own version of an engine. But what's happening is that Unreal, especially Epic, is developing things at a pace that is so fast, and there's so many amazing features that it's hard to keep up, and I love where things are going. Now, what I like the most about where this actually becomes more than just games is that lately, engines, Unreal specifically, has been used for filmmaking a lot of the time. And the reason why this happens is actually due to the, like, real-time nature of engines, because what happens in a linear pipeline in film or VFX is very much that you need to actually think about the shots, plan the shots, and then, write the story, plan the shots, do the storyboards, do the animatics, and you do all these things to make sure that the story is as cohesive as possible and as complete as possible before you start animating anything, rendering anything, VFX, adding sound, because as soon as you hit that production, then everything becomes really expensive. And the reason why I'm saying this is because when there's a mistake that happens in film, or there's a change that the director needs, those things that are linear all of a sudden need to be done from the very beginning. So normally you have to have another storyboard, another animatic, and then you go down that pipe again. But that money has been spent, and there is no way for you to change it in any ways because it's a linear pipeline. Now, what engines help with is very much they take away that linearity of things, and they allow for tweaks to happen in real time. So now when you have a specific lighting for your shot, the director can just say, now I want dusk, now I want dawn, now I want nighttime, now I want daytime. And they can just, with a click, with a slider or with a controller, they can quickly change the light, and they can see exactly in real time how the same scene looks very differently. So having said all that, I think that engines, as soon as I saw that, I thought that engines all of a sudden can become more than just about games. And to me, it's exciting, right? Because I want everybody not just gamers and game developers, to know how amazing engines are. They are like little brains that allow you to do so much. And we are so used to it as game devs that we almost take it for granted. But they are little miracles that allow you to basically be interactive with things. And it's really cool to see it kind of propagating to other things, such as cars and film and many, many more things. Now, when it comes to this very specific short with Quentin Tarantino, the short was developed by Third Floor and Epic Games together in conjunction. Third Floor being the Mocap studio that actually mocapped a lot of the work here, and then Epic coming with their expertise when it comes to animation, implementation, sequencer, and much more. Now, they use a Metahuman facial rig, trained in 4D scans in order to get the best deformations, the best look, and I have to say that the acting is coming through, the nuances of the face are coming through, and you can tell that this was to empower the director to have the best shots possible. Now, what I want to highlight the most here is the work by Third Floor, which is this amazing mocap studio, which actually specializes at doing this at a super high level. And they have new tech here that is very appealing to me. I have used many different mocap studios, and it's incredible to me always when they actually introduce new tech that basically allows us to visualize things almost as if it was the final product. Because I think this is essential for the actors. The actors need to see what the character looks like, more or less. They need to see if I'm shooting something or if I'm hitting something. They need to see on screen what that looks like. And for this, Third Floor used a muzzle report. Muzzle report is very much like this little muzzle that they put on each weapon. And as they shot, you could see in real time, just like you could see the actors in the cars and everything else, the damage that the bullets would do to basically, the cars or the walls or anything like that. And it's fascinating to me because when you actually shoot these things normally, you have to pretend. You have to say, well, you shoot this way, and then there's going to be damage. But the actor doesn't see anything, you don't see anything. You go to post, you go to game, and then you actually add those things. But this way, the actor, the director, everybody can see exactly what happens. And once again, you can imagine that this was fed to Quentin directly so he could see in previs, without cleaning the animations, without doing anything, how things would look rough, which then allows him to then change cameras, change the lighting, change whatever he needed, at a director level to make the shots better. The second thing they added was real-time destruction in virtual production. And this goes hand in hand with our muzzle reports, because when you shoot those bullets, you need to actually have real-time destruction, which is something that is super useful. And once again, you can see that this was then fed to Quentin so he could then direct things a little bit better and see a little bit more in previs how things look rough. Before you go into the post-production, when you go into the cleanup, animations, lighting, all of the things that make those shots really polished. And then on the Epic side, what you see is that they use the real-time Metahuman Animator, which is basically using a Metahuman Animator with a standard mono camera, such as a smartphone or like a webcam. And then basically they have stereo HMCs that basically captures the face in real time with high fidelity, which then means that you can basically animate those facial shapes at a high quality with a very cheap camera, which I think, to me, once again, it's very mind-blowing, because I have been in studios that they have really expensive cameras to capture these things at a very high fidelity. They have to have dots in their face, they have to have lines in their face, and the fact that they can just use this camera in front of them with nothing else and still capture a very realistic facial expression, it's still mind-blowing to me, because the tech is advancing so quickly. It's incredible. And then lastly, they used the Metahuman rig for Fortnite cinematic. Here the team used the high fidelity Metahuman facial rig trained on 4D scans to achieve a more nuanced facial expressions and emotions within the Fortnite style. Now, all of that to say that I think that the team at Epic and the team at Third Floor, they had to up their game for this collaboration with Quentin. And this is what happens when you have such a heavy weight, kind of entering this new realm, which is games, and games trying to enter this realm of film. And everybody wants to succeed, and everybody wants to explore their prowess and the tools and what they do best. And obviously they push each other in order to get more, right? And as a result, you get this amazing lost chapter called the Yuki's Revenge, and it's forever going to be hatched in history that there is a lost chapter very much within Fortnite that is part of Kill Bill. And that is an amazing thing to say out loud, because I'm a big fan of the movie, I'm a big fan of the franchise, and I was definitely geeking out when I found out. Now, that's all we had for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're now a little bit more informed about this short. Now, if you haven't seen it yet, or if you want to see it now again with fresh eyes, make sure you follow the link down below for you to see the whole thing. Watch it a couple of times, pay attention to the details, there's so many details, and appreciate the acting. They did an amazing work with the acting and everything else pretty much. So that's all I had for this week, and until the next one, stay well, stay safe, peace. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, go ahead and hit the like button. If you super enjoyed it, leave a super thanks. It's like leaving a little tip, and it directly supports the channel. If you haven't already, subscribe and turn on post notifications so you can continue to see my videos and get your weekly dose of betterness.